This is Rob Tabbert for Boxing Social. I'm here with Frank Warren. We're here at Windsor Park after Carl Frampton's successful defence of his WBO interim featherweight title. How are you, Frank?
I'm good. We had a great night tonight. It was a fantastic show. Brilliant atmosphere, even despite the heavy rain, the monsoon. The fans enjoyed it, and as I said, for us, it was besides being a bit, a very big event here. It was very important for the future with a couple of fights that we were putting together. So our guys come through, and now they're involved in massive fights.
You told me it wasn't going to rain, Frank, but that's okay.
It was about 9:15, but never mind. I was half right.
Let's start from the bottom of the televised broadcast and work our way up. Paddy Barnes, unsuccessful in his WBC World Flyweight title attempt against Christopher Rosales, was doing well in the fight. By all accounts, he was winning the fight until he got caught with a pretty sickening body shot. He
was doing exceptionally well. I mean, you've got to take your hat off to him after only six fighting for a world title. I mean, that was a bit of a statement. And he was doing so well. I mean, he was giving the guy lots of problems. But then he got caught with such a tremendous body shot. I mean, that's got to be down for one of the punches of the year. And it took the fight out of him, and that was it.
Just clear up for me, I was sat right next to Paddy Barnes when he was taken away from ringside on a stretcher. He was sat up and he was conscious, but I believe there was some dizziness or there was some issues. Can you clear up? Is he okay?
He's okay. He came back to the ring. He came back to ringside and for a little while. Then I didn't see him after that because obviously Tyson's fight happened and it was all brilliant. But hopefully he's okay.
Let's talk about Tyson Fury. Went 10 rounds for the first time in a long time. Defeated Francesco Pianeta by decision. What did you make of his performance?
I thought he'd done extremely well. He's been that ring rust. He came back with a fairly easy job against Seferi, and this job was a much, was a different proposition. What I was pleased with, he actually did get the 10 rounds. That's 10 rounds. That's in the bank. He needed that. That's better than having 3 or 4 knockovers. He's got those rounds in the bank. It was fought at quite a high tempo to fight. He showed his reflexes were there, his speed was there, his footwork was there. I thought he'd done tremendously well. And he's now set up the fight. I mean, the heavyweight fight. It is the fight, the big fight in that division.
Talk to me a little bit about that. You keep us on edge, Frank. You always give us a little bit, but you don't ever give us a quite full package. So the fight is on, but the date and the venue is either still to be announced or still to be finalised. Which one is it?
To be finalised, but the fight is on. It's done.
Can you tell us the options?
In what way?
For the location and the date?
It'll go on the States. New York or Vegas. That's what it's looking like, one of those two.
The date that's been mooted heavily is November the 17th. Is that the date that you're looking at?
I think there are a few dates. It's got to all be tied up between there's a couple of TV companies involved. There's Showtime and there's BT, and it's just working on a date that's mutually convenient for both companies.
Deontay Wilder arrived on Friday. It feels like he's been here all week. He's seemingly never ever left the eye of the press. Just want to get your comments, if you will, on the whole Chicken Gate incident. Himself and Billy Joe Saunders had themselves something to eat last night.
I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously, and I've heard all about it, and I'm not going to wing it and go about it too much. So I'll just, call that probably a little bit of a difference of opinion. But they were friendly tonight. I think they had their photo done together, so that's it. I think they actually got lots of fish and chips tonight.
What's it been like having Deontay Wilder over for Fight Week? Very colourful character, very engaging. Build up to this fight is going to be something else, isn't it?
He's a good bloke. I mean, I've enjoyed his company. He's been good for the fans. He's quite accommodating, and he's come and done and said all the right things, and he wants to fight. You've got to take your hat off to him. I mean, he's not ducking people. He's gone and picked out probably one of the most difficult fighters that you'd want to fight. But he's done it, so I take my hat off to him.
I spoke to somebody who's been around even longer than you yesterday, Shelley Finkel. Shelley Finkel told me that the fight with Tyson Fury is a more dangerous fight for Deontay Wilder than a fight with Anthony Joshua. Why do you think that is?
Well, he thinks that, and I think that will be the case because of styles. You see Tyson tonight, he's very elusive, he's very hard to hit. He rides punches well. When you think he's even getting caught, he rides it. He's got quite good reflexes, very good reflexes. And he's going to need them because Deontay's quite an unorthodox heavyweight himself. He throws punches from, quite odd angles at times. He's got dynamite in both fists, and I've seen him in quite a few fights where he's been behind and he pulls it out of the bag and poleaxes people. So Tyson's going to have to be at his best. He fancies it. I've got faith in him. So well, it's too late now. We signed for it, so it's on.
Just want to touch on something that you asked and you replied, typically tongue-in-cheek at the press conference. You said you're not worried about the Fury fight because you're not the one who's getting in there. From a promotional point of view, now the fight is done, is there any element of you that is regretful of that is potentially thinking that? You've got Deontay Wilder, this massive power puncher, Tyson Fury gone 10 rounds for the first time in 2.5 years?
No, not at all. We were talking about him having 3 or 4 comeback fights, but as I said tonight, the 10 rounds, I'm really pleased that he got in the bank. Look, they've got, in the end, the best people have got to fight. They've got to step up to the plate, and he wants to step up to the plate. That tells you a lot about him. He did it when he went to Germany. He went to the other guy's backyard in front of 54,000 fans and done a job on Klitschko. So he's not fazed by anything, and that gives everybody around him confidence. He's a very confident individual, and he's got a lot of self-belief. And I think at the end of the day, this boldness and this self-belief will get him through it.
Moving on to the main event, Carl Frampton. Good performance, stopping Luke Jackson in 9 rounds. Again, another sort of sickening body attack that led to the finish of the fight. What did you make of Carl's performance overall?
I thought it was a really good, competent performance and patient. He broke the guy down. He was throwing shots, and that when he caught him with a couple of body shots earlier on in the fight, I see him wince, and I knew that was going to be the one that he was going to take him out with, or at least wear him down with, and that's how it turned out to be. So he's now, had his dream fulfilled. He's fought and won and stopped somebody at Windsor Park. That's what he wanted to do, and that's what we delivered.
With that being said, while it was his dream venue, not quite the dream opponent for Carl or indeed some fans. I know you can't take anything away from Luke Jackson, was very game tonight, very professional. Can we expect to see Carl potentially return to Windsor Park in the future?
Well, I'm sure he'd like to fight here again, and I'm certainly like to come back here again. But in the meantime, he's got a bit of a task ahead of him, and he's fighting Josh Warrington. So those two guys are top of their game. It's not an old guy fighting a washed-up, young guy, or an old washed-up fighter, fighting somebody like that. These guys are in their prime, and they want to get it on, and we're going to make it happen before Christmas.
Is that the fight that's going to happen? Is that fight done? Is that how close to completion is that fight? Because obviously Carl is now mandatory for the WBO title held by Oscar Valdez.
Done.
Fight is done.
On.
Breaking news.
Just broke. Breaking news. Breaking noses. Breaking news, yeah. It's done.
Venue for that fight, Carl said that he wouldn't mind travelling to Leeds. Obviously, Manchester and London have been mooted as other potential venues, neutral territory. Where can you see that fight land?
Well, again, we've got to sort out the dates, and that's the problem. And it all, working out both these fights, they're quite big fights. They're both going to be pay-per-view fights. As you know, BT announced today they also got the Canelo and Golovkin fight. So 3 big pay-per-view shows on the BT. But they've got to, obviously, you've got to have gaps in between so that people can afford to watch them. So we've got to just work out the logistics of that, and that will happen in the next few days.
So the Fury and Wilder fight is on, the Frampton and Warrington fight is on. Neither of them have a date, neither of them have a venue currently. Is that normal?
Yeah. I mean, we could agree, the fight's on, and we'll give you the details. Of course it's normal, yeah.
Okay, Frank, well, I will let you go there because I know it's been a long day, which started with Chelsea beating Arsenal, so my apologies about that.
Yeah, it did. I know it was a bit of a sickener, but anyway, we're there.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I know you.
Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
One way or another.
Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Thank you for having me this week in Belfast. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Anybody know about that? But thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. And as always, thank you for all your help and those great viewers that you've got. Love it.
Cheers, Frank.